Politicians have been calling for a rethink on Ireland's aviation policy, saying it makes no sense to funnel almost 90% of inbound and outbound flights through Dublin Airport. I spoke to Clare Independent TD Michael McNamara, who described scenes at Dublin Airport yesterday as looking like scenes from Kabul Airport or the fall of Saigon. Such was the chaos encountered. But I asked him about possible solutions and whether regional airports have a role.
Well, obviously there's been a mismanagement of Dublin Airport in the very short term, but in the much longer term there's been a mismanagement of aviation and aviation policy in this country. It's been all completely centralised in Dublin Airport. In the past, a far higher proportion of passengers in Ireland were travelling through other airports like Shannon, like Cork, and of course since then Knock has also been developed, and those airports can take a lot more passengers and a greater proportion of the number of passengers. Dublin will continue to be, of course, the biggest airport in the country. It's the biggest city, but we've seen a massive growth in passenger numbers in Dublin that hasn't been mirrored in the other airports. They have grown, but at a much slower rate, and we need to rebalance that.
Ministers Eamon Ryan and Hildegard Naughton demanding answers from the Dublin Airport Authority as to how this can be avoided again this bank holiday weekend and beyond. But beyond that, what can they do about this regional imbalance you talk about? And can they tell the airlines to move their flights elsewhere?
Well, I don't think they can tell them to move their flights elsewhere tomorrow morning, but they can put a cap on the amount of flights that an airline have, or the proportion of an airline's flights that are going in and out of Dublin. So if they want to use Dublin for 75% of their flights, they have to use the other airports for 25% of their flights. That's done in other EU member states, notably the Netherlands. So I mean, it is possible to do that. That is interference in the market, of course, but Dublin has a dominant position in the market, which it is used to squeeze Shannon, Cork and its competitors, and I think that dominance needs to be tackled now for the benefit of the whole state and aviation across the whole state.
And that is Clare Independent TD Michael McNamara speaking to John Cook at Shannon Airport.